So welcome. Kind of jump right in here. We're kind of wanted to pause out of our lives and come to acknowledge, just come to pause and acknowledge the loss of life and the tragedy. I think where it says we're called to grieve with those who grieve and mourn with those who mourn. And so that's what we want to do today. We want to come and sing some songs, acknowledge the loss of life and the families affected, and just all of us as the collective as we come together. And so I think we're going to open up, and Pipe's going to share the names of the victims that have been lost up in Buffalo, and then we're going to sing some songs, and Pipe's going to share some thoughts and words. And if you guys have questions, if you want to jump in with us, feel free. But we're just going to kind of hold this space and do it together. So
thank you everyone for joining us in honor of the victims. Roberta A. Drury, Buffalo. Marcus D. Morrison, 52 years old, of Buffalo. Andre McNeil, 53 years old, Auburn, New York. Aaron Salter, 55, Lockport, New York. Geraldine Talley, 62, of Buffalo. Celestine Cheney, 65, of Buffalo. Hayward Patterson, 67, of Buffalo. Catherine Massey, 72, of Buffalo. Pearl Young, 77, of Buffalo. And Ruth Whitfield, 86 years old, of Buffalo.
I wanted to share this first song I want to share is called Precious Lord. And I remember hearing it growing up, and it comes out of this unimaginable grief. Thomas A. Dorsey lost his wife. She was giving birth and lost her child in childbirth. So he's coming home to a double funeral, and this is where this song was born out of. And it's just a acknowledgement of how hard life can be. So precious Lord, take my hand, yeah, lead me on, let me stand. I'm tired and I'm weak, and I am worn. So through the storm and through the night, yeah, lead me on to the light, and take my hand. Precious Lord, and lead me on. So precious Lord, take my hand, yeah, lead me on, yeah, let me stand. Yeah, I'm tired, yeah, and I'm weak, yeah, I am worn. Yeah, through the storms, through the night, lead me on to the light. Precious Lord, Take my hand and lead me on.
Lead me on. I want to talk about purpose. I mean, Flipsyde, we're not just a band. We're not just people that make music. I'm not just some guy that writes lyrics. We're actually out there in the community trying to help people. We're doing the best that we can. And, you know, Flipsyde, we had a great run early on, and then we dissolved and we had to go find help for ourselves. And one of the best ways to find help for yourself is to help somebody else. One of the best ways to find worth and value in yourself is to help somebody else. Because if you're ever at the bottom, if you're ever at the very bottom of your being and your existence, the first thing you need to do is open your eyes and start looking around, and you're going to find somebody that wishes they were in your position. And when you can reach out and help that person, then it validates you. It shows you that you have some worth and you have a right to exist here too. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is purpose, because just going around being a counselor at juvenile hall, being in law enforcement, when I was in law enforcement, just being a member of the community, growing up during the crack epidemic, being surrounded by murder and prostitution and drugs, the one common denominator was I saw a lot of people that had either forgotten their purpose or they didn't know it to begin with.
Wow.
And when Flipsyde steps to the mic and we start making music, our music somehow resonates with a lot of athletes and a lot of soldiers and a lot of people that are out there clashing, going up against themselves in this world, trying to be better. It resonates with them. And those people in general, when they lose their way, you know, when we lose our way and we forget our purpose or we don't know our purpose, we could be a ticking time bomb. I myself have walked around the community not knowing my purpose once upon a time, losing it life, failing over and over again. And my stresses were just getting higher and higher. And it got to the point where if the wrong person stepped on my shoe, I would have been willing to risk everything. I would have thrown my life away. And in that moment, my life didn't mean anything. This person that has written songs that I hear from some of our fans when you email me or send us messages online and you tell me how much the lyrics meant, that could have never happened because I had sunk so low that I was willing to throw my entire life away over a perceived disrespect because I didn't know my purpose and I had forgotten my purpose. We're all born with a purpose. We all have a right to be here, everyone. And whatever belief system that you have or whatever ideology that you subscribe to, you know, when it comes down to human beings and human relations, we know how to tune in and respect each other. If we could come to a traffic light that's out and blinking and we know how to let the other person go before we go, that's just common courtesy. We could dial it back to that. But when it comes to purpose and knowing why you're here, if you don't have an answer to that question, you're in danger, and the people around you are in danger. Because if you don't have an answer to that question, then you don't have a clear picture of what the greatest version of you looks like. While we're on this planet, within this lifetime on this earth, we need to be chasing the greatest versions of ourselves. We need to be imagining how we could help other people and how we could resonate with other people and live with other people and assist them in becoming great. And in order to do that, we have to have a picture of what the greatest version of ourselves looks like. That's our purpose. If you need help finding your purpose, hit us up. We'll sit with you on Zoom. Any one of us, we'll talk to you. Any one of our fans. Because when people don't have a purpose and they're out there, they can fall victim and they can fall prey to all of this propaganda that's floating around, man. All of this propaganda that's floating around online. And now we've been isolated for 2 or 3 years. We've been living with COVID. We've been living in our bedrooms. We've been living in front of a computer. Human beings are communal people. We need each other. We need to feed off of each other's energy. We need somebody to say that idea that you have is bullshit. We need that. That's how we get better. And it doesn't matter how much passion and how much emotion you believe in whatever idea is in your head. Somebody else has a better idea. And that's how you grow to respect people. That's how you grow to respect people that come from different places. Look at us. We didn't know we were diverse until corporate America told us we were. We were just three dudes in the Bay Area that loved music. And we came together and we started playing it. It wasn't until corporate America was trying to figure out how they were going to sell our music that we found out, wow, there's problems with three dudes coming from three different worlds coming together to make something beautiful. That's actually a problem. That shouldn't be a problem. That should be something that's beautiful.
Celebrated.
And when we celebrated and when we played in front of our fans, they appreciated that and they loved that. And they're one of the main reasons why we kept going. Our fans gave us purpose as a group over and over again. And we thank you for that. And we love you for that. And now, I mean, we're ready to return the favor. If you're in search of purpose, if it's hard for you to get out of the bed in the morning, you don't know what your purpose is. Because if you know what your purpose is, you're damn near jumping out of the bed in the morning to fulfill it.
Mm-hmm.
Fulfilling your purpose is how you say thank you to whoever your God is. Being the greatest version of yourself. It's how you say thank you to your mother for carrying you for 9 months, for pushing you out, for nurturing you. It's how you say thank you to your father for giving you life, whether he stuck around after that or not. It's how you say thank you to the people that believed in you by being the greatest version of yourself. Mm-hmm. It's the simplest, realest way to say thank you and return the favor and mean it. If you're in search of your purpose, hit us up. Mm-hmm. Let's play him something, man.
Yeah. And there's no doubt it's hard. You know, life's, you know, sometimes I think there's nowhere that it's promised that it's going to be easy. And this is what this song speaks to. It just talks about the struggles of life. I'm just a poor, wayfaring stranger, and I'm traveling through this world below. There's no sickness, toil, or danger in that bright land to which I go. I'm going there to see my father and all my loved ones who've gone on. I'm just going over Jordan. Yeah, I'm just going over home. I know dark clouds will get around me, and I know my way is tough and steep. Yeah, beautiful field, yeah, rise before me, where God's redeemed. Yeah, there's visuals key, and I'm going there to see my mother. She said she'd meet me here when I come. So I'm just going over Jordan, and I'm just going over home.
I talked about, growing up during the crack epidemic, and I talked about being surrounded by drugs and murder. But I didn't talk about how we got out of it.
Mm.
I focused on sports. My mother kept me reading, of course, so I know the world is a lot bigger than what I was seeing outside my front door. And, we didn't have Google, but we had a bookstore down the street. We had libraries, and I read, but I focused on sports. I channeled my energy into sports, and I found a bunch of guys that were running away from the murder and the drugs that were outside of their front door. And we got close, and we worked out, and we studied, and we played as hard as we could. And we all got football scholarships. Some of us even made it to the NFL. But one of my homies, one of my closest homies, Jihad, he had a scholarship to UC Berkeley, a football player. He was a safety and cornerback. And, we started to lose touch a little bit when we went to college. When I came back, got back in touch, and, his life he had all of the potential in the world, and it was kind of slipping through his fingers. He started playing around with drugs. I found out he was gay. He came out of the closet, and he just wasn't handling it well at all. And he was officially a part of two different communities now, and he always had a problem with authority. So when he started getting arrested, I wasn't surprised. But then I got a call at 2 or 3 in the morning that the police had killed one of my best friends in the world, Jihad.
Mm.
That the police had killed him. This was a dude who he failed the 9th grade, and then he started reading and changed his name and became a straight A student, transferred schools and became a straight A student. This is a dude who graduated from UC Berkeley. I believe he majored in political science or something. He was a genius.
Mm.
He was an amazing, dedicated athlete. He kept us on track. And the police killed him. And he wasn't the first or the last person I knew that the police killed, but he was the closest to me. He was the closest to me. And I was filled with so much anger and so much hatred and so much darkness. And I just could not understand at all. And shortly after that, Flipsyde got signed and we toured the world. And some of those verses that I wrote, I was channeling the energy of my homie. And I took him around the world with us. And, when Flipsyde went our own directions back in the day, and we had that time off, I had to figure out what I was going to do next. I was from a community that was protesting the police from treatment, from bad treatment, from officer involved shootings, from them not being held accountable, from all kinds of things. Some of them not even related to the police. Some of them related to the quality of the neighborhoods that we were living in. And the police being sent in to clean it up as opposed to the politicians changing the way that they're making decisions. But when I was thinking about what I needed to do next, I remembered my partner Jihad. And I remembered wondering, if I was that cop, would I have pulled the trigger? If I was that cop that showed up that night and I saw Jihad standing there, would I have pulled the trigger? And if I didn't, would he still be alive? Would he have been able to turn his life around? Man, I decided to go into law enforcement back in the day. I decided to go in because I felt like if I was ever standing in that position where I had to make a decision whether or not to take somebody's life. I grew up in this community. I knew this community. I played football with this community. I went to school with this community. I fell in love and out of love with this community. Who better to make that decision than me? And when I went in, I knew that I was risking my reputation. I wasn't just some dude going into law enforcement. We had a gold record in India. We had music videos with millions of views. We had been around the world several times. But I was passionate. And it was the right thing to do. And it was related to my purpose as a human being. It was one of the most powerful things that I could do from where I was standing. And I didn't need to convince anybody else to do anything. I didn't need to ask anybody else to do anything. All I had to do was stand in front of the mirror and say, what can I do that is most powerful to serve my community and to fix this problem that weighs so heavily on my shoulders and on everyone's shoulders that I love? So I made that decision to go into law enforcement. And it was one of the most powerful decisions I've ever made. It required the most courage out of any decision I've ever made, the most sacrifice. I wasn't coming from a military family. I didn't have any cops in my family. I knew one cop, and he was a guy that I used to work with as a counselor at juvenile hall. That was it. I found out I could pay my own way through the academy, so I did that. These were small sacrifices to me at the time, because at the time I'm thinking this is the only thing that I could do to make my life make sense right now. I have people close to me that are dying. I refuse to just sit here and wallow in this stress and in this negativity and in this darkness. Somebody has to turn on the light. And I had to turn on the light, and I had to go across the line and see how they thought. I had to go across, I had to reach across the line. I had to journey across the line and see what that world was. I had to snatch the mask off of it. Now, I'm not telling anybody that they have to do that. If you're mad at the police or if you're frustrated, I'm not saying you have to do that. But you can have a conversation with somebody. You could have a conversation with somebody. If you're caught up in a mentality where you think you're 100% right about how you're thinking, and millions of people are 100% wrong about how they're thinking, you're isolated. You've been manipulated.
That's right.
And we live in an age where all you have to do is type a question into a computer and answers pop up. Stop typing the same question over and over again. Go get the answers. I made that sacrifice, and I knew I would lose some friends. There are still people today that I don't talk to. There are members of my family that I sacrificed that relationship because I needed to journey across the line and turn on the light. But my real brothers and sisters stayed with me, and two of them you see on your screen right now. They knew I was on a mission, and they knew I had something to do, and they knew that I would be back. And I came back. I'm going to talk to you about hope. I came back because I had hope. I knew I'd be back. I knew I'd be back with more information. Hope is so important. You can't do anything without hope. You can't do anything without faith. Whatever you believe in, you can't, you're immobilized. You're paralyzed without it. You just don't know that you have it. And once you realize that you have it, you have to increase it. You got to turn it up. Because without hope, you die. There's a scientist that did an experiment. His name is Kurt Richter. He did an experiment with Johns Hopkins. He did an experiment on mice and rats in the 50s. And he took them and he placed them in a jar of water. And he let them tread water. The first mouse tread water for a while, was trying to get out of the jar, couldn't reach the top, swam down to the bottom, was sniffing around the edges, trying to find a way out, died within minutes. The next mouse died within minutes. The next mouse died within minutes. And then what he started to do was, right when they were going to drown, he would lift them out and save them. Let them rest for a minute, and then put them back in. Once the mice figured out that help was coming, help was on the way. Once they figured that out, some of them tread water for days. They went from treading water for minutes to treading water for days. That's the difference of a little bit of hope in your life. So I don't care what you believe in, but you need to believe in something. You need to believe in yourself. And like I said before, the best way to start believing in yourself is by helping somebody that's in a worse position than you are.
Yeah.
And there is 8 billion people, almost 8 billion people on the planet. Somebody's doing worse than you. Go help them so you can start believing in yourself. Take stock of what you are, your inherent gifts and your life experiences, what you have to contribute, how you can help me, how you can help us, how you can help the person that lives next door to you. The greatest version of yourself in your mind cannot be the murderer of an 86-year-old woman. That should not be the image of the greatest version of yourself. The greatest version of yourself should not be someone doing a drive-by on people because they're wearing the wrong color. If that's the greatest version of yourself in your mind, you have no self-worth. You have no self-esteem. In your own mind, you are nothing.
Mm.
And God doesn't make anything that's nothing.
Mm. I want to sing a little bit of this. Just thinking about when you're talking about hope, what pulled me out was just knowing I had a purpose and a plan. So that's exactly the only thing that kept me going, was that little bit of idea of a purpose and a plan, and this ain't it. And part of the reason how I got out of it was singing scripture over me, and I just want to sing a little bit of Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He lets me lay down in green pastures, leads me beside the still waters. 'Cause he restored my soul. You restore 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 my soul. Yeah, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Lets me lay down in green pastures, leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He restores my soul, restores my soul. You restore my soul, even though I walk through the valley, I fear no evil. Well, I fear no evil. And even though I walk through the valley of death, well, I fear no evil. Well, I fear no evil. Just about prayer and just hope, not only for us, this country, people that have lost so much up in Buffalo, hate and evil is such a poison. It just breaks my heart that I hope we're strong enough that we can love and sing and encourage and hope with purpose. So I just want to sing this chorus one more time and just dedicate it to everyone that's lost so much. 'Cause you restore my soul. 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 Restores my soul. You restore my soul.
I love y'all, man.
Love you,
I
bro.
love y'all. And I appreciate my brothers standing with me. I know that they're my brothers. I know that we've had extremely rough times. We've been at each other's necks. But when my younger sister was on her deathbed, about to transition out of this world, I called my brothers right there in the hospital. I called Dave Lopez so he could play my sister a song. And I called Steve Knight so he could sing my sister a song. And that's beauty, and that's brotherhood, and that's love. And that transcends negativity. In those moments of truth, those moments of birth, those moments of death, those moments of marriage, and those moments of truth, that's where true beauty resides. You transcend all things negative. Those are holy, sacred moments. And I wish those positive, beautiful, holy, sacred moments for everyone that's tuning in today. Tolerance. You don't have all the answers. No one person does. That's why we're all on this planet together, to ask each other. And if I live my life to the fullest, 100%, if I'm honest with you about my journey and what it brought me, it'll teach you. It'll help you, because no one's walked it except for me. And if you're honest about your journey and a path that you walked, it's going to help me. It's going to help me figure out whatever problems I'm working on. And if we're honest and we try to work together and we're tolerant of those parts and pieces of each other that we don't like or we don't agree with, we could grow so much faster. We could become so much more mature. We're supposed to be so in love with what we were sent here to become, so committed to manifesting our greatest selves, that we shouldn't even have time or energy to have negativity and bad mouthing each other and spending hours online writing negative things about what other people are doing. We shouldn't even have the time to do that. We should be so committed to manifesting the greatest versions of ourselves that we don't have time to comment about what someone else is doing that we don't like. Now, that's my prayer for myself. That's my prayer for you all. So we're here. Flipsyde is here, and we love you. And if you're out there struggling and you're going through something, hit us up. If you don't have a purpose, if you don't know that what you're on this planet to do, if you don't have any goals, if you feel like you're drowning, if you feel like you're stressed out, if you feel like you're on the verge of violence against other people or yourself, hit us up. Hit us up. We'll sit with you. We'll talk it out. We'll plan with you, but don't waste our time and don't waste yours.
That's right.
Have more respect for yourself and have respect for us. That's all I have today. Steve, if you want to take them out, Dave, play something. Thank you for joining us.
And hopefully we can keep this conversation going, man. I know there's a lot of people just isolated. They feel all alone. They feel like there's no way out. And I hope you guys really consider that we're a resource that you can hit us up and we can encourage you, whether it's through our music, whether it's through just conversation. But I think it's so important to just to talk and just share moments like this, because you know, I think the temptation is to become numb to it and just isolate and just, it's not my problem, it's somebody else's problem. And you know, that's one of the things I've learned so much becoming close with Dave and Pipe. It's like when you have that intimacy with somebody, what affects them affects me and affects all of us. We have to allow our hearts to be open, to have compassion for one another and not close that door and say, it's not my problem. And so I hope we can be vulnerable with one another and share and just keep conversations going like this, because not only do we need it, but we all need it, right? So, man, yeah. Cool. You gonna maybe?
Well, I want to say, I love you guys. I love everybody that's listening, and I'm here anytime, as you know. You guys know that, but anyone that's listening, I'm here if you want to talk. Whatever you need from me, man, I'm here. So thank you for everyone who tuned in, and you guys. So, you know, love and patience, man. You know,
love and patience, bro.
That's right. Just welcome out, Dave.
I don't need no rain today, but if it comes, I'll be okay. Let my flame burn through the night. Yeah, we gonna be alright. Yeah. Imagine peace, imagine love. No more fear and no more war. It's the only way. Walk with me to a brighter day. Yeah.
We all need a little love. We never know it till the push come to shove. Some get it from the heavens up above. Some get it late night in the club. It don't matter where you get it if it's real. It's worth more than the dollar bills. Cause if she love you, then she stay when you broke. And if he love you, he ain't never letting go. Them little babies need love like food. Even the soldiers need a little love too. They need love in the hood, in the bird. They need love in the mosque, in the church. They need love in the being in the schools. We need love, but we all gon' lose. They make a weapon out of hate and they kill. We make the medicine from love and we heal. Yeah, we need love.
Imagine peace, imagine love. No more fear and no more war. It's the only way. Walk with me to a brighter day. Yeah. Imagine peace, imagine love. No more fear and no more war. It's the only way. Walk with me to a brighter day. Yeah. I don't need no rain today, but if it comes, I'll be okay. Let my flame burn through the night. Yeah, we gonna be alright. I don't need no rain today, but if it comes, I'll be okay. Let my flame burn through the night. Yeah, we gonna be alright.
And I was walking through the world and seen atrocities, monopolies. The prophecy is written, and all I can be is all I can see in visions. And so I'm on a mission to envision new additions. Cause I can't stand the rain and all the pain in which we living. And talking about the problem, never solved it. We throw some action on it and dissolve it. Then kids got revolvers because they think it make them stand taller. And all he wanted to be was a baller, a G and a shot caller. They didn't love him, so we lost him. It happens often, from Oakland, Compton to Boston. Them boys off them, and then the cops off the boys. While we filmed it and got mad, marched and made noise. It's a cycle, devastation equals hatred plus a rifle. It's amazing, we living life in the blindfold. Ain't no justice and no peace, but what's peace without Love? We need